What's going on? Welcome to another live episode of Real Fans Real Talk. Apologies for the lateness tonight. Had some running around to do. But we do got a lot of sports to get into. A couple of big fights in the world of boxing. The in-season tournament, the first ever in-season tournament, has officially wrapped up. Um, and a couple of upsets today in the NFL. We're gonna get to it all. But before we get into that, let me just introduce my co-host, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on?
What's really good, bro? It's a hectic time. Got a lot going on. But as always, we ready to talk some sports.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Damn, that's crazy. That Chiefs Bills game just threw me off right there. I know we were supposed to start with boxing tonight, but the ending of that Chiefs Bills game, I could not start with boxing. How that just played out. Kadarius Tony, you gotta get your ish together, bro. Like, come on, man. That play was so beautiful. Okay. Travis Kelsey with the catch runs it up, throws it back, and then they get the touchdown, and you are standing on in the oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say to you right now, bro.
The Chiefs receiver strike again. Tony had the horrible opening night with the drops. We saw the game a couple weeks ago where Valdez Scanlon drops what would have been a game-winning touchdown on a deep bomb. We've seen Scott Moore drop a pass in Denver in a close game for a touchdown. And then we see tonight, the receivers, not only Tony lining up in the neutral zone, but I was listening to the game. I wasn't able to watch the game. Rasheed Rice fumbling when they're down 17-14 and they were driving for a chance to tie the game then. So the Chiefs receivers right now are truly the death of what's going on with them this season. Granted, they're going to make the playoffs, but this could be an early exit for the Chiefs just because of how bad their receivers have been this year.
It sounds crazy that I feel like I'm agreeing to something like that. It just really sounds crazy when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, listen, man, Kelsey is doing his job. I know they were without Pacheco today, and that's probably a bigger loss than you would think it would be, because of the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs receivers are really hit or miss, with the exception of obviously Travis Kelsey. So now when you lose Pacheco, that takes away a third of what they're going to be able to do offensively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he'll be back, but the receivers, man, they have not played well at all this season. Um, Somebody's got to catch the football. Somebody's got to not make bad plays that cost you games. There's no reason. I don't even listen. You think the ref got the call wrong or not? Nah, man. There's no way we should even be having this type of discussion.
The ref didn't get the call wrong. On every angle of the replay, you see that he is clearly his whole body is in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
So there was nothing wrong with the call. The flag came out immediately as well. Like I said, I got to see that part of the game, as the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter, and it's the right call. He lined up incorrectly. He lined up wrong. And as a receiver, your job is to look over at the side official to make sure you are lined up correctly. He never did that. So uh, again, the receivers of the Chiefs have been their demise all season, and it continues. And after the game, you saw some of the emotion of Patrick Mahomes yelling at Kadarius Tony, and rightfully so, man. I mean, when you're a guy who already isn't producing, Kadarius Tony, world of talent, high level skill guy, but he has not produced since becoming a Kansas City Chief. And then this is what you're known for, lining up off sides, or the two big drops on opening day that cost us a chance to win that game. Like, you got to do better.
Yeah. I I'm not even as mad as the drop passes as I am lining up off sides.
No, I
Like
think the drop passes were just as bad.
they 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 are bad because it's open, but at least I could give you the benefit of the doubt because anything's possible when you're out on the field at that speed. But there's no excuse for being offsides in a situation. There's no period. But in a situation like this where the game is on the line and we lose this game because you are offsides, because it's not like we don't know what would have happened. They scored a touchdown. They're winning that game. It's over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So this is the worst possible mistake that you can make at the worst possible time. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes is definitely right to be pissed off right now.
as he should. But I don't think any of it is excusable. You're a receiver. Uh, I believe it was Chris Carter who said it one time. Was like, if it hits my hands, I'm supposed to catch it. Simple as
Absolutely.
that. So the drops, I think at this point, like you're starting to see the frustration bubble over. Every team, everybody knows Kelsey's the number one target. Everybody's doubling Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
Somebody else, you guys are all professionals. Somebody else has to make a play. Somebody has to get open. Um, these guys just aren't doing it right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Y'all better wake up because the playoffs are fast approaching, and it's gonna be a long season if y'all don't get it together. It can't just be Kelsey and Mahomes and Pacheco. Somebody else gonna have to step up consistently if they're gonna make it back to a Super Bowl and try to contend. Because the 49ers and the Eagles don't look like they're going nowhere. So it's gonna be a tough ride. Shout out to Ron Charles. What's going on, man? Shout out to everybody in the building right now. Sorry again that we were late today. But we appreciate y'all for rocking out with us. What up, fellas? Eric, how are your picks doing today in the games that's been played?
Not good. Hasn't been a good day. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It has not been a good day. But let's see what we got right. We had the Bears covering the 3 points. I didn't know they were going to win, but I thought they would cover the three. They did, and they won outright. But the biggest losers today was the Texans. I was completely shocked by how poorly the Texans played in that game. Granted, I know weather played a factor on a lot of the East Coast games, but the Texans were absolutely disgusting in a game against a Jets team that seems like they already quit on the season. Zach Wilson, up until Thursday, didn't even know if he wanted to be the quarterback for the team. And keep in mind that score was 0-0 at halftime. Yet somehow the Jets put up 30 points in the second half of that game. So that was a bad loss for me today. The best win of the day was the Ravens win, though. Trip, I had that on a 5 leg parlay, and I worked. So it was crazy. Shout out to my man Vernon Brownlee because we were talking before the game, and I said I don't like the Ravens to cover, but I'm gonna work the line down to like 3.5.
Yeah.
So I get it down to 3.5. When the Ravens up 3 at the end of regulation, I'm like, well, they're not going to cover. The Rams tie the game. It goes to overtime, and then the Ravens get the punt return to win to cover the 3.5 for me. So that was the best win of the day. But as far as the losses, man, we got to call them what it is. The Chargers were absolutely disgusting today. Justin Herbert got knocked out of that game, so that was a loss. I had Kansas City. That was a loss today. What other ones? I had the Colts. 14-14 at half, and then the wheels fell off in the second half of that game. So a couple of the games that I thought were going to go a different way went completely left. And then, the Vikings-Vegas game was a push. Vikings were favored by 3. I had the Vikings. They ended up winning by 3, so it was just a push. And I had San Fran. They were minus 13. They ended up winning by 12. So, there was something that we were right on the winner, but we were wrong on the spread.
I'm just glad. Shout out to my guys down in Baltimore. I know I wasn't in the building for this one, but this was a big win for us. I will take it. The way they ended that football game. Shout out to the special teams. They did a heck of a job today. Shout out to Odell Beckham Jr. Man, he's out there looking good. You know what I'm saying, catching everything. Zay Flowers with the
Zay was big today.
You gotta stay in the game because he didn't up to that point. He didn't really have the biggest of games, but when his time came and the play got called for him, he came down with the touchdown. They played a heck of a game. I couldn't decide this week who I wanted to support this week because the Lakers they won the in season tournament. The Yankees got Juan Soto. And the Ravens, after they just, the way they came back and won, I couldn't decide. But shout out to Baltimore. They are trying to get home field throughout this playoffs, and that's what it's looking like. So I'm proud of my guys today.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was on Friday Nights Live who had asked who was the best team in the AFC, and I said I think you got to go with the Ravens because they've been the most consistent. And I think today just kind of proved that again. Granted, Miami plays tomorrow night. Miami gets a chance to try to keep pace with the Ravens for the number 1 seed. But when you look at the other teams in the AFC, Jacksonville loses today. You got obviously the Chiefs losing today. So if Miami wins tomorrow, now you're looking at Baltimore and Miami being 2 games up on um on both those teams. The Ravens, I think, have been the most consistent team. The Ravens defense was big in the second half of that game after they fell behind early. And again, to me, that drive at the end of the game, I know it still ends up going to overtime because the Rams go down the field to get the field goal. But that was Lamar Jackson's defining moment as a quarterback because he did it with his arm. They're losing. Stafford gives the Rams the lead, and then Lamar has to go down the field, and the Rams are sitting. The Rams pretty much were in a Madden quarters type defense where they were only rushing three guys and letting everybody sit in coverage. And Lamar was buying time with his legs, making the throws down the field. And I think Lamar now has taken that next step in his development as a quarterback. It was truly, I think, a career defining type win for him.
Yeah, gotta love it. Shout out to Cliff. I see you in the let me just throw this one up right now because they playing in a little while. He said he said CeeDee Lamb about to put 1,000 yards on his Eagles. I mean, listen, at this point, I don't have a horse in the race. So, you know what I'm saying, what's going down in the NFC. I mean, I guess I'm rooting for the 49ers. I
It's
want but that's only because I don't want the Cowboys or the Eagles to get it. So
it's crazy how I think the attitude of the Eagles fans have shifted after last week. I don't think we should put too much stock in the loss last week. We got to remember that was a revenge game for the 49ers after what happened in the NFC Championship game. Also, the 49ers might be the most physical team in all of football. So very few teams can really match that type of intensity. I just don't think the Eagles were ready for what the 49ers brought. With all that being said, I like the Eagles tonight. I said it on Friday as well. I would take the Eagles tonight just because I still can't remember a time that Dak Prescott has won a big game.
yeah. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good game. But don't be surprised though. The Cowboys may shock everybody tonight. Just catching them, catching the Eagles off of the. And I know the Eagles gonna want some get back, but they may be able to just catch them slipping after that loss they took last week and steal this win. It is a divisional game. Those games are always tricky. They come down to the wire a lot. And these, obviously, our Eagles are the better team right now, but I would say that the Cowboys are probably third in the NFC right now. Um, so I could see them surprising the Eagles in this game.
I mean, anything can happen. I'm not going to say that they can't surprise the Eagles, but if the Eagles are who we think they are, um, then I expect them to be refocused this week, and I expect them to look like the Eagles that we've expected all season. Again, the 49ers, that was a get back game. We knew that was coming down the pipeline for a little bit. The 49ers had that game circled. They were fully healthy. We talked about it weeks leading up to a trip that when they are healthy, they probably are the toughest matchup for anybody because of their level of physicality and because of the level of skill players they have. I mean,
Yeah,
Brandon Ayuk again is their number 4 option, and on most teams, Brandon Ayuk will be a number 1 receiver. So they got a lot of talent. The Eagles just weren't able to match their intensity. I think that changes tonight. I would not be surprised if the Eagles come out and make a statement very early in this game.
yeah. Listen, I can see that. Shout out to Will. I'm super mad because I started Stroud today in fantasy at the number one spot. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop reading the comment at.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean and I don't want to say thankfully he still had a concussion, but it could have been worse than that. But I do think that they should sit him next week though. Just to, what I'm saying, because rookie, rookie year, you don't want to just rush and bring him right back. I know they kind of still in the playoff race, but
they're very much in it.
yeah, but and the reason why I say maybe just because when I see rookies getting hurt like this, I go back to Robert Griffin, and how he went back and he shouldn't have went back, and then we know where his career went from there. And then again, what happened with Tua last season was crazy in itself. You know what I mean? The amount of punishment that he was taking with those hits to the head. So I just be a little, I just be a little nervous and extra cautious. You know what I mean? But I think for the most part, he at least he has the offensive rookie of the year pretty much locked up. So if he does miss a game, I think he's still going to be well ahead in the voting to stay as the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year, I don't think is in jeopardy at all. The real struggle here is if he passes all of the tests throughout the week and he's cleared to play. Because if you're the Texans, you want to start setting the foundation of a winning organization. And if he passes everything and the doctors say he's medically cleared, it kind of sends a loser mentality if you say, well, no, we're still not going to play him. Because if this was anybody else on the team, and we know, granted, the quarterback position is different than everybody else, but if this was anybody else and they're medically cleared, you expect them to be on the field. You don't hold them back and say, well, let's think about next year or the year it's after. So they're right in the middle of the playoff race. Fortunately for them, the rest of the division itched the bed today because the Colts lost, the Jaguars lost. So they didn't lose any ground. They're still only one game back of the Jags for the division lead. And them and the Colts are in position now with a super crazy AFC now because Buffalo's 7-6. The Broncos have gotten hot and they're 7-6. You got the Colts and Texans 7-6. You got the Steelers 76. It seems like everybody and their mother is 7-6 in the AFC right now, Trip. So if you're the Texans, you have a shot at the playoffs, and it's very tough to just kind of punt on next week.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the in season tournament a little bit later. Well, we just got a couple more things with football. We got to get. Oh, you know what? Rest in peace to Frank Wycheck. He passed 52 years old. Um, you know what I'm saying, like, damn, that's just young. That was when I
That's
seen it.
very young.
Because it's crazy because a lot of times, when guys get older and you start to, forget about players and whatnot. I always think back to Madden. Like growing up and playing Madden is how I've learned pretty much every football player, just because playing the franchise mode and making
Mhm.
trades and stuff. So, but shout out, to it's a crazy one, man. Rest in peace to Frank Wycheck.
Absolutely. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family, man. He was a big part of those really good Tennessee teams with Steve McNair and Eddie George. And it's crazy to think that, him and Steve McNair at a very young age are both gone.
Yeah, he played tight end for them.
Hmm.
Facts. Justin Jefferson came back today.
Not for
And
long, though, but yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, no offense at all, and
Yeah.
that was the defensive bowl. The Vikings won 3-zip. They beat the Raiders, but that was, I think, less than 100 passing yards for the Vikings. That game was a slow, boring defensive game. But he did get on the field for a minute.
Yeah, he got out there for a little bit and then was injured again. They're in a situation where I think you just got to sit Justin Jefferson and be smart. You're not playing for much. Granted, I know they still have an outside shot of being a wild card team, but realistically, even if they were to be a wild card team, they're not in a position to make much noise in the NFC. So you got to be smart if you're the Vikings. You got to start preparing for next season.
Yeah, like if Kirk Cousins was playing, then it's like, all right, you know what? If we can get in with a wild card, then it's like, yeah, let's do it. But Kirk Cousins is not there. The quarterback play has been spotty, so it doesn't make sense to force him, back on the field. Might as well just sit him for the season and y'all get ready for next year, because the last thing you want is for him to get hurt again this season.
Yeah, you don't want to risk any lingering injuries. Josh Dobbs, it was a great story for the first 2 weeks, but now you kind of see why he's been a journeyman backup quarterback, because now that there's enough film on you, he struggled the last couple weeks. And like you said, they win today, but they win 3-0. So it's not like he did anything special for them to win. Their defense really just showed up today.
Exactly. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Uh, Giants playing the Packers. And who the Dolphins playing tomorrow? Dolphins playing
The Titans.
the Titans. Who you taking?
I like Miami to win. The Titans struggle offensively, even with Will Levis, and that game is down in Miami, so I expect them to put up a lot of points. And though I think Green Bay is going to beat the Giants, I think it's going to be a close game. So in terms of betting, I'm taking the Giants with the points. Last time I saw it, they were plus 6.5. It's gonna be a soggy field. We saw it today. There's been a lot of rain on the East Coast, so I think that'll slow down Green Bay's offense a little bit. Green Bay, I think, will win, but I think Giants keep it close.
Hoping that the Giants do what they got to do.
It's you
Get,
know,
ride
it,
the Falcons.
well, when you say do what they got to do, you mean lose.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
do the right thing. Okay.
It's crazy because I'm hearing a lot. I'm gonna be up in the city very soon, Trip, obviously, but I'm hearing a lot of talk about Giants fans being excited about Tommy DeVito. I don't know what the hell they excited about because Tommy DeVito has not played well at all in any of his games. But I mean, the right thing to do if you're the Giants is to sit Saquon. We're talking about sitting guys and not risking injury. Sit
Yeah.
Saquon, work out the long-term deal, and start preparing for the draft.
I don't know what's going on.
That's the right thing to do.
Just listen, fellas. Y'all know what y'all got to do. We trying to jump up in the draft order. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say what y'all want me to say. We just trying to jump up in the draft.
Right.
Draft rankings. That's all I'm gonna say in regards to that. But let's get into this to NBA. Shout out to Pooh. Let me go to Pooh's comment up here. Thoughts on that title game with the Lakers, Celtics, Anthony Davis. Wait, Celtics.
No, she meant Paces.
Okay. Anthony Davis played like someone was talking about his mother, but I don't like the tournament. And if you win this, you don't win the NBA title, then what? But then you just made an extra 500,000 and got
That's
some
it.
trophies. That's it. But if there's gonna be, was it 30 teams in NBA?
Hmm.
Right? So which means that there's 28 other teams that didn't win the NBA finals, but also didn't get 500,000, right?
Yeah, I think we got into this debate on Friday as well. First and foremost, congrats to the Lakers. They won the in-season tournament for whatever it's worth. Um, I don't want to put too much stock into it because it is an in-season tournament that doesn't really hold much weight in terms of winning a championship. It's not like if you win the in-season tournament, now you're guaranteed a playoff spot and you don't have to do anything the rest of the year. The Lakers still got to play their games and position themselves to be a playoff team. Anthony Davis did play well. I knew that Anthony Davis questions were going to come, Trip, because we've talked about it so many times. He's a guy who's got to be more consistent, and he looked good in that game. But it ultimately doesn't mean much for what the Lakers are trying to do. And that's not to diminish them winning, but let's be real. If the Pacers had won, I think we would have made more about a young team winning an in-season tournament than a Laker team who has much bigger aspirations. The Lakers, this is not their end-all be-all. They're trying to compete for an NBA championship. Winning the end season is just cool, and it's a like you said, some extra money in the pocket. The end season tournament, guys. Am I the biggest supporter of it? No, I think it still needs to work out some kinks. We need to figure out what's really to come from this. But I think too many people are down on it. This is the same basketball we were going to watch anyway. Like, let's not act as if we weren't going to tune in every night to watch basketball regardless. So these are the same things. All they did was just put nice little decals on the court and labeled it as the in-season tournament. But we still were going to watch these basketball games. We still were going to pay attention when the Lakers played because the Lakers are a marquee team. We would have paid attention when the Celtics played or the Bucks played. So is it a big deal? No, but it's not a big deal either way. It's nothing to be overly mad about, and I don't think it's anything to be overly excited about either.
Yeah, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I think for the fans, you get one extra game of basketball during the season that you can watch. And then for the players, especially those the guys that are the last 4 to 5 guys on the roster. That 500,000 is gonna do a lot for them for those guys. But again, everything it coincides with the season, so it's not like these go to anything separately. It still counts as a regular game, like you said in the
Right.
stand. That's it. Now if the in season tournament hangs around and let's say it sticks around for 20 years, it'll be used as another measuring stick when you're debating who's better than who. But as of right now, in the first year, we don't even know if it's going to be here next year. You
Yeah.
know, so at this point, it's just we just got to take it as what it is. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to the Lakers. Shout out to LeBron. I'm happy. I'm happy for him that if it's only one, hey, at least LeBron got it.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like I said, I don't think it holds weight one way or the other. Like, I wouldn't have come on here and been overly critical if the Lakers would have lost. Like, I wouldn't have been like, oh, see, LeBron can't get the job done. Like, it's not that big of a deal either way. I referenced on Friday night like the Maui Invitational, like preseason NCAA tournaments. when you got the Maui Invitational or you got the Big Ten versus the ACC Classics and things like that, where we don't hold that against teams later in the season that, oh, they lost the Maui Invitational. It's treated almost like a warm up for the season, and that's how I looked at this. For the Pacers, I think it would have been a bigger deal because they were a young team trying to learn how to win. So if Rick Carlisle could have won that, you almost kind of hang your hat on it and say, hey, look, guys, when we played as a unit, look what we were able to do. But realistically, we know the in-season tournament can't hold too much weight because there are a lot of teams who are still rounding themselves into shape or have guys who are injured. The Phoenix Suns are going to look like a completely different team come April, right? John Morant hasn't even played a game yet, so we don't know what Memphis might look like later on. So there's so many other variables that go into this that you just enjoy the basketball. I don't think we should put too much weight on it one way or the other.
Gotta enjoy the moments, man. That's all I can say. You gotta enjoy the moments. Let me see. Let me go to some of these comments. I know we got a couple of comments up here. Uh, Kyrie Thompson. Yeah, I put too much stock in the tournament. It's not even Christmas yet. I start watching NBA seriously. I don't think this makes me say Lakers can beat Nuggets, Celtics, Philly in a series. I tell you one thing: if Anthony Davis plays the way he plays in that game against the Pacers for an entire playoffs without going every other night, they can't beat any one of those teams. I'll tell you that much. Because then that's going to change a lot if he's playing like that every night.
I mean, uh, the difference in those, and I agree with Kyrie on that too. Like I'm not ready to say the Lakers are better than any of those teams because we know in those situations we're talking about an actual series, 4 out of 7.
Yeah,
And Anthony Davis having the one good night, how does that equate to an actual series? So yeah, it's good for them. In season tournament still got a lot of kinks to work out. But in a series, I probably wouldn't take the Lakers over any of those teams either.
if Anthony Davis is putting up 40 and 20, you're not taking the Lakers.
No, I mean, I would give them a serious shot at possibly winning a series, but I
Yeah,
still wouldn't put it because all those teams Kyrie mentioned, those are teams that are much more balanced than what the Lakers are. So what AD did in that one game scenario makes sense. It's a one game scenario. It's similar to Tyrese Halliburton. Like Halliburton had Halliburton had a game one against the Milwaukee Bucks, the way he did in the in season tournament, it would have been great. But we still would have been like, can he carry this team as adjustments are made for the whole series? Same thing with AD. AD had moments last year in the playoffs where he looked great in game one and then looked really bad game 2 and game 3 and then came back game 4. AD, to me, it's the same thing with AD over and over, and I'm going to continue to say it. He's got to consistently look this good before I'm willing to buy in on AD being this player. He doesn't consistently look this good.
yeah, that's why I said if AD plays this way
Yeah,
for
but
the playoffs, you don't think they
Trip,
can beat any of those teams?
AD, AD been in the league 10 years, and we keep saying if AD.
That's what I say. Well, he got to do it.
I'm just like, at what point do we stop saying if AD? He is the player who he is.
Yeah.
If AD did that 5 years ago, AD would be the best player in the league. But if AD has been the headline for 6, 7 years now.
Well, let's see. Hopefully, he can stay healthy because that's the only way we're gonna know for sure. If he
Hopefully, if
healthy,
maybe then let's just hope that they don't burn out Braun, because Braun is probably the biggest factor to their success.
it definitely is. All right, what y'all think of Zion Williamson's laid back, uninspired performance versus the Lakers? He looks big and out of shape. Um, it wasn't I don't know. It wasn't his night. It wasn't his night. I don't know.
I laugh at this question, not because it's a silly question, Kyrie. I'm laughing because if you would have posed this question 3 years ago, it would have still been relevant. He was uninspired and fat and out of shape 3 years ago. So nothing changed about Zion. Again, he's another guy. I forgot who it was, Trip, but a couple weeks ago, somebody in the comment section said, "Oh, it seems like the buzz around Zion has died." This is why the buzz around Zion has died, because we've seen this story over and over again. We know who he is.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even played that many games yet, so I'm like, all right, well, at least Zion has been healthy so far this season, but it's really only been a small sample of games so far. Because I think what are we at, like 23 games into the season, right?
Yeah, right around that mark.
It's not really long enough for me to be like, all right, well, at least Zion is healthy, and now maybe if he goes through a season, he can start to elevate. But I do think that yeah, because I think what happens is if you look at the transition from with Sean Kemp, right, from the Seattle Sean Kemp to when he got to Cleveland, but it's like Zion is kind of on the Cleveland side right now when he, you know what I'm saying, when he should be if he's at his peak physical conditioning. I think that that team can be a lot better than what they are. Um, but again, he has to first stay healthy. And I guess that is a part of him staying healthy and being on the court as well. But yeah, but that game he just didn't have it, and the Lakers had a lot of momentum going into this thing. So it's gonna be nice like that. But he does have to do better though.
Yeah, but he's not. Again, at some point we just got to call out the player for who he is, and it's cool. This is, I mean, he's cool. Zion is cool with what he has accomplished or what he hasn't accomplished so far.
Yeah,
He's okay with this. So I think at some point we can't want it for him more than he wants it for himself. If this is the type of player Zion wants to be, then so be it. But these are the same things we've been saying about him for years now. And at some point you would think you would have the motivation to be better. There's some guys who year in, year out work on their game, work on their craft, and want to be better. And then there's some guys who are just content with where they're at. He just seems to be content with where he's at.
yeah. That's what it's looking like. Let me see. All right, now we get to shout out to George. What's going on, man? I love how Tyrese Halliburton has been playing. I think fans been going overboard in terms of a star player. You come in, but until you do it in the playoffs, yeah, I mean he's still young, so he's gonna continue to get better, but he is looking like he's gonna be one of them ones. But yeah, but he just have to, you got to start getting to the All Star game consistently.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, there's steps. You got to get to like 3 All-Star games, get to the second round of the playoffs before we could really push you into the upper echelon. But she's showing that he does have the talent on both sides of the basketball to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are part of the steps, though, and I agree with George with the statement as a whole because Tyrese has played really well this whole season. He was an All Star last year. He played really well, and then you saw him in the moments against teams where they were heavy underdogs. They were underdogs against Boston. They were underdogs against Milwaukee, where he played really well and he played better than some of the stars that were on the court, and that's why we got the overreaction from people about him being the next big star. So Halliburton is on his way. Granted, consistency is going to determine how bright his star shines and what levels he can go up. But let's not forget, these are the early stages because we saw the same thing with Devin Booker in the bubble. When Phoenix had gone undefeated in the bubble, and we started to see Devin Booker start to elevate his game, and then the very next year they made the finals. I'm not saying that's what Tyrese Halliburton is going to do, but these are the early stages, and that's why I think people are so excited about it.
Yeah. Pacers got a decent team too. So he does have a little bit of help, but right now they're just not ready to compete with the top four.
Of course, but nobody expected that even at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, so he's just gonna have to just continue to get
Yeah.
better. He'll be good. Let's see what we got here, Kevon. Let's talk about the Bucks though. And paper getting Damon was sexy, but their defense is horrible, and it's not just Holiday's loss. It's just something not clicking. Again, it's not Christmas. Yeah, it's not even Christmas yet. We haven't got to the All-Star break yet. We said at the beginning of the season that it was going to take some time because of the fact that you're basically changing the franchise by bringing in Dame and what he's able to do and him being a superstar and trying to acclimate him to what the Milwaukee Bucks already have going on. And that's not something that happens in 23 games. Like it takes a while for teams to really get that kind of chemistry when you're basically force feeding a second superstar into a situation to go with another superstar and then the pieces that they have around them. Give them, I still say give them to the All-Star break and let's see where they're at, and then reevaluate.
They're going to struggle defensively all year. This is who they are. They're an older team. There's a lot of miles on their bodies. You got to remember, this is a team that's made several deep playoff runs the last couple of years. Um, Adding Dame on paper always sounded sexy, but the reason they lost to the Miami Heat last year wasn't because of lack of offense. They lost to the Miami Heat last year in the playoffs because they couldn't get a defensive stop late in games. Dame doesn't change that for them. I think they're going to continue to struggle. And the bigger issue now for them is, can Dame now be healthy enough for a full season? Because let's not forget, for the last 3 years, Dame wasn't even getting through a full season with Portland. And if that starts to come into play with Milwaukee, they have bigger issues.
Yep, got some time. They may have to make it. They may have to make a move. Because they need another perimeter defender, and I don't know who they're bringing right now, but they may have to make another move. We're gonna talk about Bronny a little bit later. Let me see. What's this? What's going on, Derek Thompson? D'Angelo Russell was talking ish to Bruce Brown, saying you don't got Jokic, and I'm like, Russell, he's talking good. You had ATL. That's just trash talk. I mean, listen, this trash talk is trash talk. I don't care about trash talk. They won the game. Again, I think more so than anything, the in season tournament is just really just bragging rights. We won that 500,000.
I mean, it's a weak comeback from it's a weak trash talk by D'Angelo Russell, because it's like you mentioning Joker. They beat you in a series. You beat Bruce Brown in a game.
Yeah,
There's a and let's not forget, even with Joker, Bruce Brown outplayed D'Angelo Russell last year, who was terrible in the Western Conference Finals, even though D'Angelo Russell had Braun and AD. So D'Angelo Russell is cool. It sounds cool because his guys was up winning, and their two-star players played really well, but ain't much there.
I think it would have been one thing if D'Angelo Russell had been on the team when they won the championship a couple of years ago. Then maybe you could talk a little bit of smack, but you haven't won anything. And since he does have a championship ring, there's really can't say too much in that
Right.
regard.
They beat you in a series. You beat him in a game. It's completely different.
And then went on and won the championship.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So there's nothing you can really say. Derek Thompson again says every week I wonder when the Timberwolves going to come back to the pack. They just hungry. They are. They're young. They're hungry. They have a good defensive anchor with Gobert when he's not getting choked out. Um, Anthony Edwards is he's I want to give him the superstar stage just because he can't. He done did the Olympics. He done leveled up, and he got them in first place right now. But I'm just gonna put the star stamp on him for right now. Anthony Edwards, excuse me. He's improved every year. Turning into one of the better players in this league. I mean, Carl Anthony Towns is a 7-footer that can knock down the three. His offensive game is incredible. And when him standing next to Gobert is kind of like having the Twin Towers. Um, so I like what the Timberwolves are doing right now. And again, I've said this before. We always have those teams, the younger teams who they fly through the regular season, having the top seeds, and then they're out by the second round of the playoffs. I think when things start to slow down, and again when we go back to this whole concept of the series, I think that's when they'll come back to reality. But when we're talking about the regular season, when you play so many bad teams, you can rack up a lot of wins, and you know what I'm saying, and it looks good. But in the playoffs, when it's just the best of the best, things are a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have a really good regular season. But as you mentioned, come playoff times, when teams and specifically coaches can game plan for you and implement the defensive strategy for you, things will be different for them. Right now, it's a great story. And I think it's great for the NBA that Anthony Edwards, who has such a great personality, is the front man for this team. He is going to be a legitimate superstar in this league. but their time will come. They're still very young, and you just got to enjoy what they are right now. Like I don't. I don't think it's fair to put the expectations of a championship caliber team on them right now because they're still a young team.
Yeah.
They're a good team. They're ascending in the right direction of being a playoff team and a high seeded playoff team. But they got to win a couple playoff series before we really start to put them on a different level. For right now, just enjoy what it is.
Yeah. I do want to talk a little bit about John Morant. Adam Silver said he will be meeting with him before he makes his debut this season. I'm interested to hear how that conversation goes. Just because I want to see if John Morant has matured. I hope he has because I like John Morant a lot. I think he is, you know, as far as the younger guys, he's maybe the most explosive out of all of them. I like John Morant's game. He's led this team to the playoffs. Uh, you know, he's one of the best players in the league. Just that off the court, he's doing too much. But I do hope that this time being away from the team and being away from the game has really helped him and made him understand, this thing could be taken away from you in a second if you don't take care of it, if you don't respect it, if you don't do the right thing, it can be taken away from you. So I really do hope that he comes back and it's just all about basketball and business, and that's it. All of the little immature stuff he was doing, let's leave that in the past and let's get ready to move on.
You hope. I don't know if we're going to get much about how that conversation goes because I'm sure Adam Silver and the league as a whole are going to paint it as all positive. You don't want to paint John Morant in a negative light coming back from this type of suspension. But overall, he's got to get refocused. He's got to get back to business, and you hope it all works out in Memphis. I'm already on record, Trip is saying I don't think he's in Memphis beyond this season. I just think too much damage has already been done to his reputation and his relationship with the organization. So I think this is more about showcasing John Morant because I don't think he'll be there next year.
All right. Well, listen, they got a couple of games left. They can definitely showcase what John. I mean, we all know what John Morant can do, so you ain't really got to showcase too much because everybody knows it's just whether or not he's going to calm down. And I do think that if he is traded, it could possibly be the best thing that ever happens to him because him getting a fresh start in a new city and he's still a superstar. He's still one of the best players in basketball, and he's not even close to being, in his prime yet.
Yeah, I think
So
he's only 24, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I think he's only 24 right now. So he still got a lot of time to develop.
exactly. So I would look forward to seeing that. Kyrie Irving has a right heel contusion. I don't know if you saw the fall. I believe it was Powell fell on him.
Yeah,
Look,
Dwight Powell.
yeah, it looked crazy. It looked like he was in pain. He did manage to get up, shoot the free throws. He walked off, but he's out indefinitely for now. Um, Hopefully he can get back soon because Dallas was actually playing pretty good this season. Definitely a huge upgrade from what we saw from them last season.
Yeah.
So I hope he can get back soon. Plus, is my
Yeah.
guy, Kyrie, man. I want to see him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was playing really well. I thought Jason Kidd had found a way to make it work with him and Luca. Um, and you hope that this injury doesn't linger because Kyrie has had several injuries in the past, and we know he's missed a lot of time for other reasons as well. So you just hope this injury doesn't linger and slow him down this season.
Exactly. Um, let me see. Before we leave the NBA, let me see. Did we get everything in the NBA? Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's talk a little bit of baseball because we're running low on time, and I know that game is
I don't want
starting.
to talk about baseball. I don't want to talk about baseball.
We got to talk about
No, I
baseball.
don't want to talk about baseball.
Come on, we gotta shout out show how Otani because he got the bags of all baggity bags. He made the whole country of Japan proud of him. They were talking about him. They were proud of that young man of bringing in $700 million from the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know what? And I'm okay with it because being that the Dodgers are from Brooklyn, If the Yankees not in the playoffs, that's the team that I support. So I'm okay with him going to the Dodgers. But
man.
that's a hell of a lot of money. Congratulations.
Yeah, just because he's so valuable as a player, and modern day Babe Ruth, he might even be better than what Babe Ruth was. But a guy who, even if he isn't fully healthy, is still going to probably hit you 30 plus home runs and 100 plus RBIs. And the reason I say fully healthy, because even if he can't pitch 35 times a year, he still can be in your lineup every day as a designated hitter.
Exactly.
Like I said, he's just so valuable, and that's why the annual salary and the totality of this contract is where it is. Um, for the Dodgers, man, I mean, it's crazy to think about the type of lineup that they're able to trot out every night. Mookie Betts is still one of the best players in all of baseball. Freddie Freeman, the list goes on and on of the type of guys. But now you add Ohtani, you add another star to Hollywood. I mean, the only thing holding the Dodgers back is that they flame out every year in the playoffs. Aside from that one year that they won it all, they flame out every year. But
Yeah.
star power, there's nobody who has more star power than the Dodgers.
Who knows? Maybe Otani might change that.
I mean, let's see. He's never played in a playoff game, so that's already going to be a change for his career. He will be in the playoffs this year.
Now that's when we're gonna really get to assess Otani when he does get to the playoffs. But again, $700 million, man. That's how you set your family up with generational wealth.
Right.
With a lot of money right there.
Right.
So big shout out to him. And then of course the second biggest move of the offseason, the Yankees managed to bring Juan Soto to the Bronx. And I'm very happy about that. The 1-2 punch of Soto and Aaron Judge is going to make for a lot of big play baseball this coming season. I'm happy.
I think first thing people should do is look at what the Juan Soto MVP odds are, because Juan Soto is going to be in the conversation for MVP. Left-handed hitters historically have always hit well in the Bronx. Juan Soto might be the best left-handed hitter. I mean, Otani's in that conversation as well. Don't get me wrong, but you're looking at
League now.
say that again.
He's in the National League now.
Yeah, he's the National League. Well, they swap leagues because Soto's going to the American leagues, Otani's going to the National League, but the Yankees now have two guys in their lineup who are going to hit 50 home runs. I'm calling it now, unless injuries take place. More importantly, I give Cashman a lot of credit because I've been very critical of the Yankees and the way they built their roster the last couple of years. I felt like they were bargain basement hunting, but they went out and addressed some of their bigger needs right away. Not only Soto, but I thought getting Trent Grisham in that deal. Trent Grisham is a very good defensive outfielder. So now Judge doesn't have to keep playing center field, which I thought was already ridiculous that he was an everyday center fielder for them anyway. And then getting Alex Verdugo from Boston, who's another good outfielder and another good left-handed bat. I thought the Yankees lineup has changed drastically. They still got to figure out what they're going to do with Giancarlo Stanton. But Soto and Judge back-to-back in the lineup, those two guys are going to both hit 50-plus home runs this year and both have over 110 RBIs. I'm telling you right now, Trip.
Yep. Now, if we could get that picture from Japan, was it? I don't want to even mess up his name, so I'm not even going
to Yamamoto.
There you go. So,
well, the rumor is that the Mets are the front runner for him. We'll see how that goes. Because him and Kodai Senga have a good relationship. So that's been the rumor that the Mets do have the inside track. But again, you never know with those things once money starts flowing around.
Yeah, dollar bill, y'all.
Right.
Scoop Hoop. We still shout out to Scoop Hoop. We still working on it. But we got a couple of guests that's coming on before we get to that point, though. All right. We got.
Sorry, we're disappointing you, Scoop Hoop.
See, listen, we don't have a whole slow right now, but we do have a Super Bowl champion that'll be coming on the show. He's gonna be in studio with us this Tuesday. Raheem Brock of the Indianapolis Colts and the Seattle Seahawks. Where he his NFL career, but his Super Bowl championship came with the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so we did bring you a Super Bowl champion. We have Bruce Carrington is going to be back with us next week. I know it was a quick fight. I had told him before the fight I wanted to recap the fight, but since he knocked him out in the second round, there's not going to be much to recap with the fight. So we will have to find some other things to talk about when Shushu comes back on the show next week. But we are working, guys. We are going to, we're going to make it happen.
Let's be clear. Shushu will be on the live with us longer than he was in the ring yesterday.
wait. Well, that's come on, man. That doesn't.
That's a fact. That's a fact, though.
He will be on the line.
That is a fact, though. I'm not making that up.
No, he
He was.
will. It's because he had posted too in his story, and I believe he said the fight was supposed to start at 5:30, and I commented, yeah, you should have put it in to be over by 5:40.
Yeah.
Fight was over so fast,
It-
and I knew it. I knew it was gonna be over because in the first round he did the Mayweather. You know how Mayweather, when you think you hitting him and he starts smiling at you, he did the Mayweather. He started smiling, and then in that second round he just went to work.
Yeah, he destroyed him. Shushu again. I mean, listen, man. What more can we say about Shushu? We keep trying to tell people he is the future of boxing. He is going to be a future world champion. In the very near future, all those things are going to happen for him. But yeah, I coined the phrase a couple episodes back with him, man. And he getting dudes up out of there like he got dinner reservations, like he
Mhm.
ain't got time to hang out. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, we got to let's just go ahead and do this. Hurry up, we got to go. Don't even turn the car off. Just leave the car warmed up because once it's over, I'm taking a quick shower. We out of here.
We had, we had,
Yeah, we out of here.
yeah. I don't know. It was a quick night. I like those. You know, when you get paid to do the job, but you finish early, you just go home. You know what I mean? Like
You
I
don't
think
you, you
that's
don't
that's
get you don't get paid by the hour. You
yeah,
get paid by the fight. So if the fight is over in 2 rounds, that's it. It don't matter.
that's all we need. So big shout out to Shushu. Uh, Brooklyn was definitely in the house. Shout out to Top Rank, man. Y'all got Bruce Carrington putting on, and he's continuing to do what he's supposed to do every fight. He just looks better. And this was his first 10 round fight, but it just didn't get anywhere close to the 10th round. But again, shout out to Bruce Harrington. We're looking forward to having you back with us next weekend. Because I do want to talk about the heavyweight division with Shusha. I want to get his take on that because there's a couple of big heavyweight fights that are coming up on that same card. You got
Next month, yeah. Right before Christmas.
yeah, you got Big Baby on that card as well. So again, big shout out to Shoo Shoo. Let me throw George coming up there. Yeah, I know, guys. We getting there. We getting there. Like we just listen. We can't bring everybody on all at once, but I told y'all we got Super Bowl champion Raheem Brock joining us this week in studio. Then we got Bruce Shushu Carrington. He'll be on the live with us next Sunday. All right. So we're gonna continue to bringing these guests on, and I know everybody that y'all want to see. We have been hitting them up in contact. Listen, in God's time, that's when it's gonna happen. All right, we
Yep.
can't tell him our plans. We gotta let him do what he gonna do. Let me see what else we got up here on the rundown. No, yeah, I did see that Bronny comment. Let me go to this Bronny comment up here because I know we missed it. Damn, I don't know. I seen that. Oh, here we go. Ron. That was Ron's comment. Bronny James played his first game today. I'm not sure his final stats. Yeah, let me see. Let me see
I
if I
think I think he finished with 6-2, something like that. He played 17 minutes. I think he finished with was it 4 points or 6 points and 2 rebounds.
okay. And he came off the bench.
Came off the bench. Yep.
I'm just glad he's on the court, man, because we all know what happened a couple of months ago with his heart and him passing out. So I'm happy for him that he continue. He's getting a chance to live his dream because I know that was scary for his entire family. That's scary for the world to see when you see these young kids going down like that. So I'm happy that he was able to play. He just got to get back into game shape now, and then we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, shout out to him and congrats on getting on the court for the first time this year. He did have a highlight block that's circulating right now on social media. He's a well-rounded player. He's I don't think he's the superstar player that his dad was, but he's a kid that could do a little bit of everything, and it's great for him and his family to see him back on the court. And he'll be fine. Like you said, I don't even know if it's more working yourself into shape as to just getting acclimated with the college game. You're stepping up a level now. Sierra Canyon is cool. But now you're playing at USC. You're playing against the big boys. So you're
Mhm.
stepping up a level, and now you got to elevate your game as well.
Exactly. But I am looking forward to seeing him play. I know. I mean, obviously the game was going on while we were on the air, so I didn't get a chance to really see much of it. But I'm gonna definitely check the highlights because I do want to see that block you were talking about, Eric. So I'm definitely gonna check the numbers on that one. Guys, while I got you here, make sure that you guys are following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk, and of course YouTube.com/ For the Fans Productions. Excuse me. Um, if you're not in the New York City area and you can't watch us on TV on Thursday nights from 8 to 9 p.m., um, make sure that you hit us up on the website, realfansrealtalk.com. You can watch from anywhere in the world. Just click that red button on the home page and you can watch on Thursday nights from wherever you are. And lastly, make sure you guys are subscribed to both the Sanchez Show and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast, streaming on all major platforms. And I hope you guys are locked in on Friday nights as well for the Sanchez Show. Eric is making his picks and trying to make y'all some money if y'all be listening. But y'all don't be
trying to make myself some money. This week was terrible.
You're gonna bounce back next week. Don't even trip, man. We are going to bounce back next week with these bets and the picks. All right. Oh man. All right. Oh, Devin Haney. We didn't get to talk about Devin Haney yet. We spoke about all his boxing and did not get to talk about Devin Haney. He is now the WBC junior welterweight champion. So big shout out to Devin Haney on that one. Who do you want to see him fight next? Tank, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson. Who would you like to see him fight next?
If those are the options, I would go in order of Tank, Shakur, and then Ryan Garcia. I think Devin Haney's a little too skilled for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is still working out some stuff, and we saw the level of talent once Ryan Garcia got in there with Tank, that he wasn't on that same level with those guys. But I say Tank because Tank is not only the biggest name, but I think Tank is the best fighter at 140. No disrespect to Shakur, but we got to remember Shakur is slowly moving up to that weight. He just got up there where Tank has been fighting at 136, 140 for quite some time now. So I think Tank is the best fighter there. It's cool that Devin Haney got the belt, but I don't think he wants any problems with Tank Davis at 140.
So then why do you want him to fight Tank first? I think you want Ryan Garcia to fight him first.
Nah. I think if you're the champ, you should be taking on the best fighters. There ain't no more tune-ups. Yeah. If you want the tune-ups, you take tune-ups. But him taking Progress yesterday was his statement of I want the best fighters at this weight class. And so the best fight to me is him and Tank. Because as far as IQ, I think they're two of the smartest fighters in the game, two of the most skilled fighters in the game, but also styles make fights. Devin Haney is a traditional boxer in the sense of footwork and setting up punches with the jab and motion in the ring. And Tank is the assassin. He's the sniper who waits you out and then lands the big blows that start to break you down. So I think it would be an amazing chess match to see those two guys go at it for 12 rounds.
Absolutely. Shout out to Imani, man. She come. I hate to be a hater, but I love it. I hate to be. Listen, Imani coming. She start with the messy section right up. I hate to be a hater, but Bronny James has never impressed me. Listen, man, he gotta put in work just like everybody else. Just because his last name is James,
that's what it is. It's unfair that his last name is James. We're never gonna give him a fair critique because of who his dad is. If his last name was Smith and he was just a regular kid if he was a regular kid on the team and you got to actually just critique his game, we would look at him differently. But because we're holding to a certain standard of his dad, it's never going to be enough.
Oh, hold on, Imani, you back to back hating now. Hold on now. You got to stop this. And did y'all see the Lakers acting like they won the NBA title? LeBron, for some reason, wanted that so bad.
Yeah, I'm not going. I agree with Imani. I didn't understand the whole goggles and champagne. Like I didn't know that's what they were doing for the NCAA tournament. I thought that was extreme.
They celebrating winning 500,000 when you pop some champagne. If you just
but when Braun said there's guys in this locker room that don't know what winning tastes like, it was like, bro, relax. Like you got to calm down a little bit. Like Braun kind of dragged it right there.
That's Braun being Braun, man. You know how that goes, man. Shout out
That's
to
it.
Imani, man. I love Imani's energy, man. She always comes in here and change things up, have us getting into the messy section. Oh my goodness. Oh, really quick because Dallas is up right now, 7-0. CD Lamb. Cliff did say CD Lamb was going to put up some numbers today, and he definitely starting the game off right with a 13-yard touchdown. But let's get ready to get up into this final thoughts segment of the show, so we can get down and watch this the rest of this game, man. Eric, what's up, man? Final thought.
As always, man, we appreciate the supporters, man. Y'all give us so much energy, so much love, and we greatly appreciate it. Send over your questions, man, because we got a good episode, two episodes actually that we're going to be recording in the next couple of days. We won't be on live for it, but we got an NBA episode with our homeboy Combos Court that we're going to be putting together, and then obviously we have the Super Bowl champion NFL veteran Raheem Brock, who's going to be tapping in with us, and we're going to be in studio for both of those. So I know you guys are going to enjoy that content. And then also, man, I hope everyone stays healthy throughout this holiday season. You mentioned Frank Wycheck. I also want to send a special thoughts and prayers out to the families that were affected by the shooting at UNLV, which was a very tragic situation as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hold on, let me just because I don't like to leave a comment unread. Shout out to Hoop Baller Scoop. Uh, we all talk about Wemby and Chet as top rookies, but the rookie from UCLA for the Heat is making a major impact. Is that's Jaquez, Jamie Jaquez?
Jaime Jaquez, yep.
Yeah, yeah. He has been balling as well, but it's just that the attention is gonna go to the Twin Towers, and that's Chet and that's Wemby. He is playing well, but I don't think he's playing better than either one of those two. And I think out of the three, obviously, I think Wemby is playing the best, but Chet's team is playing the best out of the three of those teams as well because they're in second place, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they're still in second place. So they're gonna get the shine, and it's like if you remember, Eric, do you remember remember they had the puppet commercials and they was trying
Mhm.
to Kobe LeBron thing going so bad. I like it's kind of like the storyline that's being pushed is Wimby and Chet. You know what I'm saying? And who's the better out of those two? But he's definitely playing some really good basketball. So yeah, be on the lookout for him. I don't think he's gonna get rookie of the year though, unless he something drastic happens with the numbers. Because Wimby and Chet are both playing really well, and I have um, Wimby right now with the edge.
Yeah, Jaime is playing really well. He's going to be all rookie first team. But as you mentioned, those guys' impact on their team and what's expected of them, I think, is a little more important than Jaime Jaquez because he's an afterthought. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's team is Bam Adebayo, is Tyler Hero. Chet Holmgren, in most cases, really is the second best player on OKC. Wimby is the best player on San Antonio. So, the weight that those guys carry is much heavier than Jaime.
Yeah, and yeah, I do know Wimby has been on a 14 game losing streak, but when we're talking about rookie of the year, they gonna go by who's the best player, who's doing the best because they don't expect rookies coming in and changing the game like that. So it's just gonna go to who's played the best. I will say this though, I feel like this could come down to another LeBron Carmelo race where it was very close and neither one of those guys could have got it. Melo had the good numbers, but he was playing for Denver, and Denver made the playoffs. And then you got LeBron, who was playing exceptionally as well, but the Cavaliers didn't make the playoffs. So I think it's going to be another one of those type of races.
Yeah, it's between Wimby and Chet. Wimby obviously is going to be the fan favorite, and it'll depend on how the writers and the critics of the game kind of view his impact. But to me, it is Chet. I think Chet is the rookie of the year. I just think he's been a little more consistent. Wimby and them in a losing streak. I mean, I don't think we should be too surprised. That's a bad team. They aren't a really good team. They just have a generational talent on it.
Yeah, exactly. I know y'all gotta go, but how is Wimby carrying? I'm not sure what you mean by the question. Oh, carrying. What do you mean? Are you talking about like a risk carry, or what do you mean
Yeah, I
carrying?
think it means the team carrying the team type. Well, he's
He's
the best play. He's the best player on the team. Like
yeah, yeah,
the offense runs through him. The defense is anchored by him. So yes, he's now they're a bad team, but he is the
yeah,
focal point that is carrying the team.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. He is the best player on the team. He's a two-way player. He can score inside, outside. He can block shots. There's not much that he can't do. But the team is really bad that surrounds him.
Yeah,
So I don't expect them to do much more than what they're doing right now.
like most rookies end up on bad teams. He's on a bad team.
Exactly. There you go. With that being said, I'm just gonna make my final thought. If you guys haven't already, y'all go out and check that extended sizzle reel from the football documentary I've been working on. Y'all check that out for me. Run the numbers on that, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And again, make sure you guys keep in touch with us. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for rocking out with us each and every week. Um if you haven't already, and y'all still got time. We're not gonna be with Raheem Brock until Tuesday. So if y'all do want to have access questions, we're gonna set up the live. Still we're gonna stream it live as well. But the only thing is because I'm not gonna be running the boards, we may not necessarily get to the questions live on the air. So if you do have questions, just hit us up on any of our social media, send the questions there, and then when we get to the interview, we'll add your questions in, mixed in with our questions as well. Now, with that being said, for myself, Trip Young, my brother, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games, we up out of here. Peace.